Hello and welcome to another Creepypasta Storytime with me, Gilloboijr Jr. And today's Creepypasta is going to be Halo 3 Remastered by Destroyer 334545. Sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy the story. It used to bug me on how Halo 3 never got a remaster, but the sad truth is, it did get a remaster. It's something that I wish never existed, something horrifying that I had to witness. So, I got the Xbox One on Christmas 2014. I wanted it for Halo, and with the Master Chief Collection out, I was excited. Halo 3 had always been my favourite, so I was a little bummed that it would have the worst graphics in the Master Chief Collection. It finished downloading on December 28th, 2014, and I went to Halo 3 on the menu, and to my surprise, Halo 3 said, Halo 3 Remastered. I pressed it. The menu showed up of all the levels, including the removed Guardian Forest in between the Ark and the Covenant, which baffled me. Long story short, the remaster is one of the fucked up things I've ever seen, and I'll explain why, and how the levels were. I only played up to Floodgate. I didn't want to continue. It was the most disturbing, and dare I say it, scary things I'd ever played. Sierra 117 was the only level that remained pretty much the same as the normal, with the exception of Halo 2 Anniversary graphics. The Jackal snipers were way more accurate, but I was playing on normal, so it didn't really affect me much. Crow's Nest was a little odd, as the beginning cutscene had the injured Marines dead. The only ones that weren't dead were Miranda and Johnson. The dead Marines were pretty gross to look at, as they have battle wounds all over them. Playing the level starts with Cortana saying, "This place will become your tomb." And the level plays like normal, except that there were dead Marines scattered and no Cortana dialogue. The Savo Highway is where things get bad. It starts with one Marine alive and bodies scattered, some with limbs missing and bigger pools of blood, something I would never expect from a Halo game. I continued through the level, and then I got ran over by a chopper. Instead of Chief just going flying when you usually get ran over, you saw Chief get brutally sliced in half. It was very disturbing, something you really wouldn't expect in a Halo game. I respawned and got to the end. The shield you had to destroy at the end of the level had imprisoned civilians inside of it, and the Covenant pointing fuel rod cannons at you. A brute said, "Break the shield, or I shoot." To end this horrific level, the cutscene starts with Cortana saying, "You're a failure," and a Pelican comes down to pick Chief up. After the Pelican leaves, the brutes kill the civilians in brutal ways. The storm had the whole beginning part with the Warhog's cut, just straight to the building. When I walked into the building, I saw a Marine hanging himself off of a wire. I progressed through the building. There were no Covenant, but there were Marines sliced in half, several limbs on the floor, and the floor was painted in blood. There were organs, bone, tissue, severed limbs, and other human remains everywhere. It was very disturbing. I got to the point with the ghosts and the anti-air wraiths. The wraiths weren't shooting at the sky though, they were shooting at the Marines, with the Marines graphically exploding. They wouldn't shoot at me though. I went through the other building, and it was eerily familiar to the last one. There was a brute though, eating a human. He just ignored me. I then made it to the second part with the Scarab. This time there was no wraiths. The Scarab was already there, but I did nothing. I went through to the last building. Nothing was there except for a construction worker crying. I got to the last part. I saw chieftains running at me. Then it read at the bottom, "Worthless." I made it past the part due to a gravity hammer glitch. The cutscene shows Chief running from the brutes and the Flood ship comes in and graphically slices the brutes. Then Floodgate began. Dear God, Floodgate. It starts with the text at the bottom saying, "Nothing left," and you see the crashed Flood ship up close. The Flood came up, all human forms. The Marines started screaming inside the Flood forms. It was disturbing. I only got about 3 minutes through until I was killed. Instead of a normal death, it showed a clip. It shows a broken Chief armour. The Chief proceeds to take his helmet off. The face is melting off with cuts and wounds all over it, missing an eye. It was the most disturbing thing I'd ever seen. He says in a dying voice, "I failed God." Then the screen faded to black. So I quit the game because of how scared I was. And I looked at Halo Waypoint to see if anyone else had seen the Halo 3 Remastered. No topics yet, but I did start a board and someone replied. I found it too. I managed to play the whole damn thing. I asked what happened after Floodgate. Before he could reply, the topic was pulled down by 343 Industries. So that was a short creepypasta, guys, based on the Halo series. I hope you liked it. Make sure to like and subscribe if you did. I've been Gilloboijr Jr. Bye bye.